Novartis, a world leader in healthcare, is intent on discovering novel ways to treat disease, improve health and extend people's lives using science-based innovation. This is the second time Novartis South Africa is hosting their partner summit in Midrand, Johannesburg. The company's CEO speaks of its relevance and the need to innovate in research development.
We believe in a country like South Africa with a lot of different stakeholders, with a lot of things we can actually jointly change for the future. We have to work together as a team. We as a pharmaceutical company have one vision, and actually that's helping the patients get access to drugs and get the best treatment. But we know there's many others out there who have the same vision, be it in the government, and that's why we have people here from the Department of Science and Technology, from the DTI, the Department of Health, players from academia like Wits University. You saw we have other industry players here from distributors, other pharma companies. So we believe we all have a role to play and be the team that wins ultimately for the patients. So first of all, we see this mainly as a dialogue to really also exchange ideas, because we believe you will not necessarily come out with one bright idea of the summit. It's hopefully a lot of small ideas that come out that are then actually growing independent of the summit in other forums in the end. But I think that whole notion that we discussed, can we do to bring South Africa forward as a research place, how can we make a change for patients here in terms of diagnostics, in terms of patients speaking up in the end. Those are, I think, big themes that unite us actually across the industry, where we find a lot of people who actually share that vision.
Novartis operates in 140 countries and says confidently that South Africa is leading the continent forward in medical science and research for a variety of reasons.
First of all, to do research, you need a certain amount of infrastructure in the end. And there's South Africa, and Africa is in the lucky position to be better positioned than a lot of other countries because we have the academic institutions here. We actually have a certain tradition actually of research. But that means that actually we believe this should be much more played into the advantage of the country, because you have a very good network already of academia. We already have cooperations between industry and the scientific community. But we believe to really get South Africa, the next part is about acceleration, creating more trained young people who have the opportunity to study. So we also believe the more people you have who actually can go to universities, who can become researchers, the more it will add to the wealth and development of South Africa. And we believe that's something where we stand in hand, and where programs like the ones we are supporting can help and be our part to contribute to that scientific scene here in South Africa.
This year's summit theme is Education Partnering for a Science-Based Industry. In tying with the theme, much attention was given to their Next Generation Scientist program, a state-of-the-art science and mentorship program run in conjunction with the University of Basel, Switzerland.
The program runs for roughly 6 years, and it has so far had 120 people actually joining in the program. We had actually a very high share, because it's anyhow aimed at emerging markets, but actually coming from Africa. And we had a high number of people also from southern African countries, people from Namibia, from Zimbabwe, and a high share also of South Africans. And the idea is really to give people that are in academia, that are scientists, the chance to see how's research done in a big company that really focuses its 20,000 researchers on science, give them access to modern equipment, and then also a lot of science is around protocols, around ability to reproduce the results, and also using state-of-the-art to actually get new insights in the end. And that's our contribution to go into that dialogue. And I think it has proved really well, because it created also very much excitement around our scientists to see all the talent from emerging markets and working hand in hand with them. And I think we had two great testimonies today of really how it can change people's lives and careers and motivate them. And that's what we believe we will give back to the emerging markets, where we need much more scientists and need much more say actually to develop the therapies of the future.
We conceptualized the program 5-6 years ago. It was a colleague of mine from our research organization, Brigitte Tadmore, and myself. And the idea behind the program arose out of conversations with university professors here in Africa, in South Africa, but also in Ethiopia and Kenya. And from talking to them, we realized that there would be a lot of interest in this type of activity, where young scientists work in their own areas of specialist interest, but also get involved in a curriculum of leadership development and communications. So both building up the science base, but also being able to develop the next generation of scientific leaders. I have zero regrets with any of the 120 individuals that have come through the program. And the reason for that is a combination of very highly motivated scientists, as well as a really good and stringent selection process that we go through. So we really get the cream of the crop in terms of the young talent. So zero regrets. Great scientists out there.
PhD candidate Thandiswa gave a first-hand account of her experience on the program, which is nothing short of phenomenal.
So the project that I'm working on that I use in the application is a project that has been going on in the department for the past 30 years. So they've been trying to find the causal mutation for KWE for the past 30 years. They've tried a few different things, but they didn't find the mutation. So this was an opportunity to use, at the time it was new technology, to use next generation sequencing technology to sequence that entire region on chromosome 8 that has been linked to KWE. And so when I got to Novartis, we designed the probes, then we sequenced that entire region after a few years and me studying my PhD, did the analysis and we found the mutation. Now the families that have this disorder now can have an answer for their kids, because usually in most of the patients they start at a very young age and no one really knows. They only knew that it was inherited, but no one really knows the cause. So I'm happy that the families now have an answer, and I think it's going to help in terms of medicine as well, because there are also other disorders that are quite similar to KWE, and if it's similar to KWE and if it's something else and you're not sure if it's KWE or not, now that we found the mutation, you can actually just test for the mutation rather than trying to give patients medication that are not going to work, because there is no known effective treatment for KWE. So I'm happy that now patients have an answer, and we are planning on developing a diagnostic test so that people who are suspected of having it can be tested and they can have a definite answer as to what disease they have.
They come from a rural area in Limpopo.
Medical scientist Dr. Nadia Carstens also shared her passion for research into human genetics with the audience. She is also a participant on the Next Generation Scientist program.
I have a good relationship with the Department of Ophthalmology at Wits University, and they see a lot of cases that have some genetic origin. And actually, so through the years, we've built up a couple of families where we know that we can diagnose their disorder clinically. We know what's wrong with them phenotypically, but we don't know what the genes are that's causing it. And so for this Novartis opportunity, we decided to take 3 of these families and try and see if we can find the mutation in those families. I first got introduced to it through Thandiswa, who was a fellow, I think, a couple of years before me. And I realized how much it did for her in terms of her personal development, and also I saw the research that she was able to do, because I saw the techniques and things she had access to. And I think to me it said, oh, okay, well, there's a lot more than I can do with my research if I were given that opportunity. And so when the time was right and I had an idea that I could pursue for my own research, I decided to apply.
The pharmaceutical giant has urged other pharmaceutical companies and industry bodies to take a more hands-on approach in making a difference in the South African healthcare landscape. Nashina Mohammed for Joburg Today.